All right, chat. What are we testing? We'll be testing more clowns. However, we'll be testing a new list. Still pure clowns. However, we'll be testing a variant of the Spain National Championship, a top 32 pure clown list. I've altered it a little bit based on one, the cards I own, but two, some of the decisions I just don't agree with on his list personally. But for the most part, it is very close to the same list. However, I've just ordered food, so I'm waiting on that to show up. So while we are waiting on that to show up, I figured that we would watch Joshua Schmidt talk about past formats because I didn't really start playing competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, and I know very little, next to nothing, about competitive Yu-Gi-Oh before tier limit format. Like, my knowledge of anything prior to tier format is non-existent. I obviously know, like, small tidbits, like Zodiac was a menace, but I don't actually know, like, the year of Zodiac. Or Pepe. Like, I know of decks that reigned supreme as tier 0. Like, I know, like, COVID format was a thing where, you know, it was, like, Eldritch and just, like, an atrocious time for Yu-Gi-Oh. Or like all the FTKs running around before Toss. I know Toss. Edison, obviously GOAT. But for the most part, like, I don't know these formats. So like I said, what we're gonna do.
For example,
Shut up, Josh.
10, right?
Stop talking. So while we're waiting for my food to arrive, I figured that's what we would do is, you know, we would do something that I like. This is something I do in my, like, I genuinely like to do is like to learn Yu-Gi-Oh before I started playing. So that's what we're going to do. You will have to tell me, chat, if the volume is too loud, too quiet. I'm trying not to cover Josh here, but
yeah, I remember X-Sabers.
Also, fun fact, Joshua Schmidt is my second, like, GOAT. Like, my second place GOAT. It goes Jeff Jones and then Josh Schmidt. I think they're both very talented players, and I would like to meet both of them at some point.
I also remember Star Strike Blast, but the exact differences and nuances.
So I started a little bit of this video, but, like, I fell asleep.
Is something we're gonna have to look into this for, which is also one of the most fun parts about me because of about this for me.
This is also a 7.5-hour video. We will not be watching this whole video. We will only be watching this video until my food, 1, arrives, and 2, is inside me.
A lot of fun moments where I just remember stuff from the past today and be like, oh.
But I just wanted to like stream and like have a chill moment.
And changed everything to the good, for the good or the bad in some cases. There's gonna be a lot of nostalgia today. And if you ever plan to look into one of those retro formats, then maybe this will give you a good idea of which ones are going to be that. Right?
For the record, there are formats in here that, like, I do recognize to an extent, like Teledad Dad for Turn. I don't know what that is exactly. Like, I know about Teledad format. Frogs. Oh, this is Teledad. Sorry. So yeah. I know about Teledad. Dragon Ruler, obviously.
And the other shout out that I want to give is the Law YGO, who's done this about 2 years ago, and it's a video that I've watched at some point and thoroughly enjoyed. And basically, when I saw this video at some point, I said I want to do this myself. This is basically from, I think this is from 2024, so this doesn't have.
All right, Josh, get on with it.
Years ago, which in return makes it these formats are still, which in return.
I think we started, my bad. I'm just saying, this format right here, 2025 Dude format, best format. I will die on that hill. Totally not biased because, you know, my all-time favorite deck was the best deck in the format, and on top of that, I saw competitive success during the Jush into Dude format. Totally not biased by any means, I promise.
And we'll try to figure out if there's maybe more to it, maybe more formats that people should actively play. Which brings me to the last thing I want to say before we start jumping into these formats, which is that one of the main things I want to also talk about today is how you can enjoy retro Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because there are different ways. Because one of the most popular ones in terms of retro formats is when tournaments are happening for it, right? And I think that is something that really makes a retro format a top tier retro format.
Yeah, that's the big problem with like a lot of retro formats getting off the ground. And like that's one of the few reasons like so many formats don't actually see any sort of success is because like Konami doesn't acknowledge them and thus creates this weird scenario where it's like, oh my god, I want to play this retro format because like, oh, I want to have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh in a different way, or I loved this format back when I played it or whatever. But then like unless you find like a locals that multiple people are in the same mindset as you, you're just not gonna have any tournaments. And so like you're in this weird thing where it's like you want to do it, you have that incentivization, but you don't have like the prizing incentive part of it. And like, in my personal opinion, I play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively because I am a very competitive person. And there's nothing more rewarding than actually getting prizing of some sort when you actually win. Like, don't get me wrong, I like to win, but winning sometimes isn't enough, personally. And I think a lot of people are on the same boat. So, like Time Wizard or Time Wish Machine or whatever the fuck they call it nowadays. At local, or sorry, not at locals, but at like regionals and stuff. Especially after like they fucked with the rules and shit like that. And I say fucked with lightly because I think, to keep judges all kind of on the same page, like it's fine. But that was like a whole controversy on its own. But no, like it's hard for a lot of formats to kind of get off the ground because you need a community that all is on the same page as you, and also somewhat acknowledged by Konami. And Konami's never really truly acknowledged anything other than Advance until they made a format, which was Genesis.
Is when you could see yourself entering tournaments for this over and over and over again, even in the modern day, which is, for example, something that makes Edison format so popular, right? And so successful as well, because it is a really good format to replay over and over and over again. There's a lot of meta developments in it. It's a very diverse format.
And that's the crazy part too, is like a couple buddies of mine play Edison at locals. In fact, like we're getting like a whole Edison thing started up, and he is like gonna have like 1,000 different loaner decks, and we're just gonna have like unsanctioned Edison tournaments that are locals, like not ran by the store, ran by us or whatever. But like Edison is still a developing format is crazy to me. The fact that there are still like discoveries being made in that format is insane.
Which in return makes it...
Which is only proof that there's no such thing as a truly solved format, especially in modern standard. Like, just because, Yummy was one of the best decks in the Jush and Dude format doesn't actually mean it was actually, like, one of the best decks. It's just that it was the new toy on the block, and so we wanted to play with the new toys, and we didn't really experiment with all of these other cards, especially now in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! When like there's tens of thousands of cards that are all legal. Things will just be missed, unfortunately.
A really good retro format, right? Which is not going to be the case with every single other format on here. Like, not every format in here is as diverse and offers as much long time potential as Edison format, for example. But it's not the only thing that, in my opinion, makes a retro format a good format and enjoyable.
Agreeable.
But it is kind of required for a retro format to be super successful on a like tournament scale. I do think there is a certain level of like diversity in deck choices to be like needed or to be present. Because, for example, something like a Dragon Ruler format or a Necros format or a Zodiac format, those formats, like, they are pretty good, and we're going to get into
some of those formats were pretty eternal, so I'm curious how he actually structures this.
I don't think they make for a super successful retro format in the sense that like you will play a bunch of tournaments for them, because they are formats with like very few decks, like maybe 1 or 2 decks in some cases.
Fun fact, also chat, because I can hear it in the background. A lot of my music in the background of my videos is first off from Legend of Zelda in some regard. I've only recently started expanding to some like other older games. Like the clown videos are Witchy World from Banjo-Tooie, because it's like a carnival or like yeah, like it's a carnival or a fair. So it kind of just is in theme with like clowns. But for the most part, most of my music is like Legend of Zelda. I kind of started getting like that idea from Josh in his videos. He does a lot of Pokemon as well in the background. Like if you listen closely, it's a lot of like the Gen 4, Gen 5 soundtracks. Which just makes which makes me just like him as a person better because he just has good taste. He's got good taste in video games.
Which can still have really good gameplay.
Or maybe it's his editor. I don't know.
By the way, some of these formats are still going to have exceptionally good gameplay, even if there's only very few decks in them. So here's the thing, right? For retro formats where there's a really strong, like let's say,
all right, Josh,
1 or 2
love you,
decks,
man. Get on with it.
where people go, and major problem that if someone, well, basically is what you do. Format, and then
We started.
What the decks were in that format, what the new cards did when they came out, and discuss all that. For the people that have played at the time, this will be a lot of nostalgia. For the people who haven't played at the time, I hope it's going to be somewhat educational and you understand how Yu-Gi-Oh has become the game that it is today.
That's why I'm here.
By watching this. So
that's another thing too that I really like to learn about past formats. Is I do like to see how the game has progressed over time. And when you do start to actually like look back at past formats and compare them to today, you do start to notice trends in like Konami, but also in like power creep and meta development. And I think that helps you like develop as a player, is to start to recognize those trends as well. Big thing that like one of my closest friends, who's like been basically a personal coach to me, has been like teaching me, is like really acknowledging like in learning trends. One of the big trends right now, right? So I mentioned it when we were talking about YCS Columbus. There was like a lot of board breakers and not so many hand traps. Big thing when we get into like a big new format, especially if we have a new set and a new ban list, we typically end up seeing a lot of board breakers. And if you go back to past YCSs that were immediately after a ban list and a brand new set drop, you start to see that. But as the format starts to develop more, you start to see the hand traps start to creep back in once we start learning like actual choke points and places to stop decks. There are decks like Cool Tune where the choke point is not as defined, and because that board breakers are a lot better against Cool Tune, but Cool Tune is like one of the few. But Cool Tune in the format is like one of the outliers, whereas like every other deck in the format does have actual like choke points. As we've seen in just my testing alone, there have been moments in Doom Z where like I hand trap them with just one hand trap and it doesn't kill them, but their end board is significantly weaker and easier to break. So just keep an eye out on like future events going forward, because we might start seeing hand traps creep back in once like a lot of the pro players and just a lot of people in testing have started to learn the actual interactions. Because we do tend to see that trend where it's like we fresh into a format, we see board breakers. Like hell, even post Burst Protocol, we didn't have a ban list for Burst Protocol, but we did have a brand new set and a lot going on. And if you look at all the regionals after that, you see evenly matching everybody's side deck because we just didn't know how to interact. So instead of interacting, we just go die.
It should be a fun time for everyone, hopefully. But we will be here for a while.
Moral of the story is just learn trends. Learn trends.
Why not? Let's begin. 2002, the very first Yu-Gi-Oh format, LOB format, or as it's also referred to in format library, is Yugi Kaiba format. Yeah, Yugi Kaiba is the first Yu-Gi-Oh TCG format, and it includes essentially just 3 decks, three products, which is the Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon, Starter Deck Yugi, and Starter Deck Kaiba. It is, as you would expect, it's a completely different game, essentially, to modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And when this came out, I was 6 years old, so I didn't play this in any sort of competitive or tournament setting. I just played...
Josh is younger than me.
Revisited this.
Josh is younger than me.
Shout out to Brad, who has kind of like brought me to playing this format a little bit, because he's brought like... some decks to a tournament once, and we played a little bit of LOB format. And I will say this format, we gotta evaluate it a little bit differently. The early days of Yu-Gi-Oh, because Yu-Gi-Oh is just a different game back then. Which
It
for some
really
people,
was.
if you're used to like the pace of modern Yu-Gi-Oh, this is just gonna feel boring to you. Which is
There are, sorry, I'm eating candy. There are points in Yu-Gi-Oh consistently where you see the game change drastically. But the game really changed, from my understanding, when Return of the Duelist came out, when like Shadal and all of those decks came out, because it changed how you look at like combo decks, and the game has just kind of kept spiraling ever since then. But no, he's right. Like real early days of Yu-Gi-Oh, way different game. Even like when you go back and play Go, it's not the same.
is completely reasonable. However, as someone who has played back then, there's a couple of things about this that I find interesting. So, in case you're wondering, it's a super simple format. You essentially have like vanilla beat sticks. You have Summon Skull as the strongest monster in the game. Essentially, that is just one tribute. There's a couple of decks that are trying to summon Blue Eyes White Dragon, I think, but like.
Just a side note here that I want to note. I imagine it's pretty annoying that I keep pausing the video, but it's so funny that Yugi had Summon Skull and Dark Magician in his deck, but Summon Skull, by game mechanic, was just a better card. Same attack, one less tribute, and Yugi kept opting for the Dark Magician.
For the most part, you just have like Soul Exchange, and Summon Skull is like premium removal. You don't have many monster effects, like Maneater Bug is a premium card. And you will find that for most of these cards, you see some statistics here on Format Library, which is fun. But most of these
All right,
cards
Siggy, have a good night.
Absurdly high play rates. Like every deck includes Raigeki, every deck includes Change of Heart, every deck includes Dark Hole, and so on and so forth. The maximum amount of depth that you get from this format is like when you set a Summon Skull to play around Trap Hole, and then when your opponent attacks it, you like, you know.
Juan's welcome to the stream. Welcome back.
By setting your Summon Skull, basically, is what you do. Yeah. Pot of Greed, 99%. I think Pot of Greed is not always being played because there is like a genuine strategy, because decks are so low power in this format. A genuine strategy is to just play like a little more than 40 cards and deck your opponent out. Like this. This is a deck where you just play a bunch of things with 2000 defense. You play like Fissure and Dark Hole to out your opponent, and Trap Holes to out your opponent's big beat sticks.
Didn't catch last stream, caught the VOD.
Sit there.
Not a whole lot happened last stream, if I'm gonna be honest.
Which is why I think some people just decide to not play Pot of Greed, which is crazy as well.
Whoa, what the fuck? You actually said that how you were supposed to say it. Yeah, it's Siggy, right? How do other people pronounce that? Bro, I get this so often where I read a name, I pronounce it how it's supposed to be pronounced, and then people are just like, how did you do that? Like, no one pronounces my name correctly. I'm like, dog, what do you mean? Also, is my computer using the right mic? Chat, does my mic sound different? Like louder by any means? I feel like I'm peaking a lot. Maybe I'm louder than normal in general. I've been super monotone the last few days, so. I feel like my computer changed my default mic, which does happen from time to time. No, it's correct. And how do other people pronounce? Being Icelandic, it happens a lot. I mean, fair enough. Louder for sure. Like super fucking loud. Like, am I peaking the mic? Oh, my food's on its way. Using the correct mic. I don't know. Maybe it's just like I have a little bit more energy. I don't know.
But yeah, this format is.
I could just open my stream and listen, right? Oh shit! Like I could just hear myself. That's also an option. Maybe it's just like I have a little bit more energy. Shut up, me. I don't know. But yeah, this format is. I could just open. No, you're right. I sound fine. I'm just being paranoid because I'm watching like my audio waves on OBS, and it's really fucking loud. Oh god.
Pretty simple. It's not a good format, but if you do ever want to experience what it's like for the like playing,
My food's actually almost. My food's on its way, and it's early.
Right? Like it's
running early.
It's not great though. I would say like it's just too simple. And at the time, this is also an argument that a lot of people.
I feel like we're gonna see a lot of the early formats in the bad format until we like truly get to the GOAT time period.
People are making about early days Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think to an extent is true. Some people are saying the gameplay that Yu-Gi-Oh offers in like the DM era or like the very early days is just like
picking up Dooms. I'm picking up Pure Power Patron.
Aspect to it that a lot of people like about mana-based card games.
After my regional next weekend, I'm gonna take a break from clowns and play Pure Power Patron.
Don't have effects yet. Most importantly, the monsters. And so for a lot of people,
I'll take a slight step back. I'll still try and play clowns, but just because it's
if I can play Magic, and I think
I don't want to give up progression series after like 6 weeks.
I think it can be nostalgia for some people. For me personally, it doesn't have it because once again, I didn't play this on a competitive level. So for me, when I revisited it, I thought it was fun for literally 2 games, and then like there was a limit of there's nothing to think about here. Like I'm just like, I'm summoning the biggest card in my hand. I'm activating my removal spell on the biggest thing that you have. And for the most part, it kind of plays itself. There's a very, very small amount of depth into it.
There's no skill in old Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pretty much proven by the fact that this is like a viable strategy in the deck. Where you in the
also, hot take, there's very little skill in anything before GOAT format. There's also probably very little skill in GOAT format. It is very much like there's a little skill involved with GOAT format, but people make it out like it's this heavy skill. Bro, you just opened fucking Mirror Force or some shit. Like, you opened Pot of Greed. Congratulations. Pot of Greed and Magician of Faith. Oh, man. So good. Guess what I opened? 5 trap cards.
Where you just keep setting 2,000 defense monsters, activate spells that kill your opponent's shit, and watch them deck out slowly but painfully. Right? So, yeah. And then we start getting into a format where we start getting a couple of effect monsters, it's called Critter format. Critter is the OCG name of Sangan. And of course, when Sangan came out, it was a pretty good card because it was the first time you had some sort of like toolbox. You started accessing your deck and you started actually making some more meaningful decisions. And this is a format that I've built this for myself. I have 2 Critter decks at home. I have a lot of retro decks at home. At some point, maybe I'll make a video and show you those. But,
Critter format is interesting.
I have 2 Critter decks at home, and every once in a while, if you're just looking for a super easy, super relaxed game of Yu-Gi-Oh, like early days.
Wait. Josh said I have 2 Critter decks at home. Where are you? Does Josh have like a studio or something? I always thought this was just a room in his house.
I would recommend Critter format over Yugi Kaiba at any point. This is a format where they introduced Metal Raiders. Notable additions include many new effect monsters, Heavy Storm and Mirror Force. For the first time, we see a clear split in playstyles between aggro and control. Players can also set up win conditions via OTKs with cards like Cannon Soldier. It still is, for the most part, really, really simple, but at least the usage of vanilla monsters goes down significantly. At this point, you basically only see La Jin, which is the strongest monster in the normal summon.
Until Mechanical Chaser came out.
You see like maybe a giant soldier of stone every now and then, maybe a 7-colored fish, which is also
and then
1800.
fucking Gemini L.
Actually using effect monsters now. We actually have a couple of different trap cards that you can realistically use. And this one's all right, you know. This one's not insanely good as a format. It's not super deep, especially for modern Yu-Gi-Oh players. This is going to feel very, very slow, but I do think this is fine if you're trying to experience.
Oh, my driver's taking so long. I want my food now. I ordered Panda Express. I want Chinese food that's not actual authentic Chinese food.
Some decisions that you have to make, like what's the What is the best card I search when my Sangan dies? What's the best card I search when my Witch of the Black Forest dies? And so on and so forth. Like when do I use my powerful removal spells and all these things?
Keep in mind,
So
we haven't gotten to
it's
chaos
alright.
format. Fuck is treasure format?
And then, you know, I feel like when the biggest issue with LOB and maybe critter format is that like the cards aren't doing enough yet, and then they decided to print some cards that absolutely did some stuff. Which is
Good old Delinquent Duo,
the
right?
introduction of, I think, mainly Spell Ruler / Magic Ruler. Notable additions include the Hand Disruption spells, Mystical Space Typhoon, Painful Choice, Recruiter monsters, and Ritual monsters. Now, here's the thing about this format, or the introductions that were being made into the format. A lot of the stuff that they introduced here is giga fun for a long period of time. So something like Mystic Tomato has shaped up like Yu-Gi, and this is funny to say from a modern perspective, which is why I think it's fun to do this. You couldn't possibly convince a modern Yu-Gi-Oh player who's never played back in the day that when Mystic Tomato came out, it basically changed the game for like the next 5 years. Like I'm
Yeah.
ironically, Mystic Tomato sees play longer than 5. Wait, it's 2002, and Mystic Tomato sees play all the way up.
He is
up until
spitting facts,
2010.
chat.
Like
Mystic Tomato was a card.
Sometimes in 2011, like that card was good. And so basically, and Mystic Tomato is just the poster child of the recruiter category, right? You have other cards like Giant Rat and Mother Grizzly and so on and so forth. Like a Magic Ruler introduced a lot of these types of cards for different decks, and that was a Shining Angel, I think was in Labyrinth of Nightmare, but I don't know exactly. But that category of cards, like when basically what I'm trying to get to is the monster cards that are released in this time are super fun and super balanced as well in this early days. Like the first couple of effect monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh are freaking awesome. Mystic Tomato, even Sangan, Witch of the Black Forest, Magician of Faith, Man-Eater Bug, like all super simple but fun in terms of the gameplay that they offer, and never too broken. You know, of course, eventually, like a Witch of the Black Forest made its way onto the ban list when it had too many search targets, but the concept of these cards was pretty down to earth and starting to add complexity to the game in a very fun way. However, all of the things that I just said about the monsters that came out here cannot be said about any of the powerful spell cards in this era. The spell cards in early Yu-Gi-Oh are completely absurd and essentially ruin a lot of these formats in the beginning. You have like literally all in one format. You have Delinquent Duo, which is just a +1, rip 2 cards out of your opponent's
It's
hand.
a good card.
Forceful Sentry, which is look at your opponent's hand, take the best card away.
Also a good card.
Confiscation is look at your opponent's hand, take the best card away. And we all know Painful Choice. Painful Choice, funnily enough, in the early days is probably the worst of those 4 because there's not that many graveyard effects yet. So Painful Choice, unironically, in this format isn't even that big of a problem.
But it became a problem.
In this format, Painful Choice is not even that crazy. Painful Choice would probably be the best of these, or would definitely be the best of these in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But in this format, Painful Choice is actually just fine. They don't even play it in every single deck. It's played in 72% here on Format Library. But Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, and Confiscation are all almost at 100% play rate, and they are miserable. So essentially, this format, in my opinion, is just worse than Critter format. Like, I don't see... Like, this is... If you look at this deck, it's essentially a Critter format deck with Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, and Confiscation.
With good cards in it.
From my perspective, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you play that? The other decks in the format, this is also one of the fun...
I'm not gonna lie, part of me does want to skip a lot of the LOB stuff because I just don't care about GOAT. Not to mention, like, love Josh, but he do like to talk a lot. I'm not much better. I talk a lot too. I do like the sound of my own voice.
Relinquished enters the format, which I always thought was was a super fun deck. You have like Sonic Bird and Senju and Relinquished and the ritual spell, but in general, like the introduction of the hand rip cards make this format bad. Like literally, I think this format would be better than Critter if it didn't have the Delinquent Duo, Forceful Sentry, and Confiscation.
Gonna be a trend, chat. Any format that has hand rips is gonna probably end up in one of these two formats.
If it didn't have those cards, it would just be Critter, but more diverse, because you'd have like more you would have more choices in terms of what to play and what to build, because you can play like Relinquish, you can play Recruiters, which are fun cards. But because those hand rips exists, I think that's a problem. So if you ever, I think if you want to revisit and play with a friend, maybe the most fun experience for this could be to just like play 2002 Treasure format, but remove the hand rip spells. And then maybe it's even more fun than Critter, because you have a little more depth by having...
It's also going to be a trend. I want y'all to notice real quick. Just take note of this. So three formats in 2002. Most likely this is split up between every time a brand new core set was dropped, or just a brand new set in general. So three. So this is like LOB format. This is Spell or Magic Ruler, and then I think like Pharaoh Server, or whichever one came. Whichever way they came out. But as you see here in 2003, 6 formats. 2004, there's only 3. Just keep note of this. Because when we start getting closer to modern, you're going to see a lot more, I'm pretty sure.
Out in chat right now is the existence of Magical Chaser in this format, which you might ask, like, hey, why is an 1850 vanilla monster a problem?
Because you couldn't get it. It was hard to get.
Like when you go back and replay this format, it is no problem.
This was a hard card to acquire.
Provided at the time, which is once again an issue that I didn't experience firsthand because I didn't play competitively in 2002. Mechanical Chaser was a power crept version of La Jinn,
but harder to get.
It was 1850. Which seems like a small deal, but of course, when your opponent normal summons La Jinn, previously there was no way to trade positively with it, because even when you spend a removal spell on it, you're just trading 1 for 1. Now,
what am I doing for this stream? Well, I do intend to actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just watching Josh talk about old formats, because it's the guilty pleasure of mine to learn about past formats, and just kind of notice trends in Yu-Gi-Oh! As time has gone on. But I'm mainly doing this because I'm waiting for my food to arrive, and then I intend to consume it. My food is actually like 2 minutes away.
You can just normal summon this and potentially go +1 over a La Jinn, right? Which is a big deal, because then it forces your opponent to have a trap card and spend it on the Mechanical Chaser. Otherwise, you go +1. In theory, not really an issue. Like, okay, yeah, bigger vanilla, now better.
Is he not going to talk about the fact that I'm pretty sure Mechanical Chaser was a hard card to even acquire? I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, like, I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Back then, but a lot of people talk about how Mechanical Chaser was this problem card because it was better than La Jinn, and not everybody had Mechanical Chaser. Working on etching a flare when you get home. Nice, nice.
This was a problem because this card was printed exclusively.
Here it is.
Tournament pack.
There it is. There it is.
And in Tournament Pack 1, which is essentially their equivalent to an OTS pack back in the day, it was an ultra rare. Only ultra rare. And pulling an ultra rare out of a tournament pack is hard.
It was very hard.
Pull them as often as you pull an ultimate rare today. I don't know the exact pull rate, but I think for OTS packs, it's like an ultimate rare every... Dude, what is it? Like 1 every 15 packs or something?
I was going to say about 15.
Rare, it was not that easy to pull a Mechanical Chaser back.
Yeah, my food is here. I'll be right back. Because they always miss my apartment. Missed my apartment. desk is a bit of a mess. There we go. Sorry about that.
And I would also imagine
Now it's time to
the
consume.
competitive scene in 2002 just wasn't that big. So I don't even know how many tournament packs you could reasonably obtain during that time.
Not a whole
I
lot.
don't know if there was like huge locals happening already that you could go to regularly and get like multiple tournament packs every week.
I don't even know if there was really such thing as a locals back then. People who played back then can definitely correct me, but I heard like horror stories that people would go and play at like fucking Toys R Us or some shit like that.
I can imagine this being a real pain in the ass. I mean, of course, this is like really, really bad when it happens in modern days. Luckily, they don't really do this anymore. We're gonna have a couple of instances of this where cards are expensive because they are just very, very gate kept on where you can get them. This was the first example.
Minerva.
Of this, and of course, that makes this format a lot worse at the time. In modern context, of course, you can get Mechanical Chaser in any form of reprint. I'm sure there's plenty out there. But yeah, if you're just going back to it, it's not a problem. But for the people at the time, it's definitely worth mentioning, right? Okay. And essentially from this format, where it's a lot of good stuff, monsters, and really powerful spells, we enter Pharaoh's Servant format, which they call Imperial format on here, which is the February of 2003, which is our first 2003 format. The introduction of Pharaoh.
I'm gonna get rid of my webcam so you don't just sit here and watch me eat, because it's not a very delightful thing to watch me stuff my face full of food.
Servant introduces Jinzo, Nobleman of Crossout, Premature Burial, Call of the Haunted, and Imperial Order. And with how it doesn't matter how much you hate Imperial Order in the modern day, because it absolutely is a freaking toxic card. This unironically makes the previous format a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Because you can now actually counter those toxic spell cards. And like the biggest problem of the format was the powerful spell cards. So Imperial Order entering the format, like, you know, makes it a little bit more bearable.
The amount of people in today's format that wishes IO would come back, and I'm like, you're on fucking crack. You also just have a problem.
It's like, oh, we're gonna make Dimension Shifter to counter combo decks type interaction, but still, this is Imperial Order is limited, so it is just a one-of. So realistically, it doesn't change that much. You're still getting blown out by all the hand rips very often, and then once again on the other end, sometimes you have a couple of important spells in your hand, then your opponent flips Imperial Order. One thing that's also worth mentioning about Imperial Order, that at the time, this is before the errata, I believe. This card has changed at some point to no longer give you the option. I think, what is it, with modern Imperial Order, you cannot choose whether you want to destroy it or not, right? But in the first iteration of Imperial Order, you could choose whether you wanted to destroy it or not. Like you could stop your opponent's spells for a turn, and then on your turn you could just say like, I don't want to pay, it goes. And I don't think you can do that with the modern version of Imperial Order, which ironically doesn't really change anything about it in modern context, but back then it was meaningful that you could just get rid of this whenever you wanted, right? But yeah. As a result, I think this format is better than Treasure format, but still not significantly better. I like the introduction of Nobleman of Crossout because it introduces some skill level to your Recruiter gameplay. Like in some games, it's better to normal summon your Sangan or normal summon your Witch, even though you're risking taking some damage and your opponent knows what it is, but you play around Nobleman of Crossout in that way, which is okay. But for the most part, yeah. Then we have Android format, which is named after Jinzo, which was kind of confusing when I saw it, because Jinzo is technically already in the previous format because it is Pharaoh's Servant. but this one includes Labyrinth of Nightmare. Also, one thing that I figured out yesterday that I found relatively confusing when I was looking through some of these descriptions for the formats, a lot of these early formats say is a DM era format that predates the first ban list. And I was confused by this because, of course, all of these formats have a ban list. However, what
They have a
they mean
ban list
by
for
this,
today's
and this is
standards.
actually interesting. This was also a learning for me. I didn't remember this exactly. This means there was no banned card yet. Technically, this is a limited list, which is also what it's called here. This is before anything was banned. So until, and I'll tell you when we get to the point where we actually had a real ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh!
In Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm pretty sure the first ban, the actual first actual ban list hit like the best, the Power 5, right? Like Pot of Greed, Premat, Dark Hole, Raigeki, and Delinquent, right? Or I could be wrong about that.
Until that point, everything we've talked about so far is still legal. There are some cards that are getting limited at some point, like, for example, Mage Power or United We Stand. And of course, some of the really powerful spells are already limited, like Delinquent Duo and so on and so forth. But nothing is banned yet, right? So everything that we've talked about until this point, Delinquent Duo, Confiscation, yada yada. Well, not yada, actually, but you know what I mean.
Aha.
Everything is still legal technically here, right? So there is still a limit, I think, for how good these formats can be. If like it's logic that we have from a modern perspective, but they apparently didn't have it back then. But if we have incredibly problematic cards in the format, you can't really fix that unless you ban them at some point. So basically, Android format introduces Labyrinth of Nightmare, which is Gemini Elf as a new 1900 beatstick, which was probably cheaper than Mechanical Chaser, but still not cheap because it was, I think, a secret rare.
Yep.
Bazoo the Soul Eater, Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, Skull Lair Torrential Tribute. Due to mistranslation,
Kaiku is a good card.
Skull Lair can banish any card from the graveyard. So this introduces just like essentially alternatives to just vanilla beatsticks, because now Bazoo is in the mix, which can get bigger than your regular beatsticks. We have Kaiku, which is also a good card for a couple of years from this point on, but it's just an 1800 beatstick with an effect. So that's just straight up better than, you know, a Lejin, which is interesting for people. It also stops some other cards in the set, like Bazoo can't banish to beat over a Kaiku. Skull Lair is a really powerful card in that time. The modern text of this card, or modern text, but remove from play any number of monster cards in your grave to destroy a face-up monster on the field whose level is equal to the number of cards you removed from play. This is a continuous trap card that in the beginning, like they say on this text here, it can banish any card due to a mistranslation. So basically, banish any 4 cards from your grave to destroy a level 4 monster on the field, which is pretty good. On a continuous trap, you can do it over and over and over again, as long as you can get stuff into your graveyard. So Skull Lair was a really good card, and then you would use cards like Mystic Tomato, Painful Choice, whatever, to just fuel your graveyard. And then Skull Lair is like one of the first removal cards that actually goes plus over time, right? It's not a one-time removal thing. You actually use it over and over again. Also not once per turn, but that barely matters at that point.
The good old days of remove from play.
More than one monster a turn.
Not banish, remove from play.
So yeah, we have a little bit more. Once again, the monsters and a lot of the trap cards that are introduced in this early era of Yu-Gi-Oh, they all increase the depth and decision making in the game. Like, you know, a Mirror Force and a Torrential Tribute existing increase the skill in the game because you now have to play around mass removal. A Call of the Haunted is a really good card, but not like game warping in the sense of like a confiscation or something like that.
Does that, but they had to ban Call of the Haunted at one point.
The more trap cards are added into the mix, I would say the better the gameplay becomes. If it wasn't, or if it weren't for those insanely broken spell cards. But still, I think once again, this is a step up from Imperial Order format, because this one doesn't really add any toxic cards into the format. It just adds more options in the monster and the trap department. So yeah, this is a fun format. Besides the spell cards, pretty much. And then we have Joey Pegasus format, which is unfortunately a format that, you know, you've noticed something, right? We've been going steps in the right direction. And then the problem were the powerful spell cards. Now we have Joey Pegasus, which basically is named this way because Starter Deck Joey and Starter Deck Pegasus released. And that releases one of the most powerful spell cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's history.
Graceful Charity!
Which is Graceful Charity.
Draw 3 cards, discard 2.
This is the only format in Yu-Gi-Oh's history where you can play more than one Graceful Charity. Funnily enough, I think for the sake of this format, or for the sake of early days Yu-Gi-Oh, Graceful Charity is actually fine. It's a really powerful card.
You are crazy for saying that.
Obviously plays it. However, this is the point in time where Graceful Charity is still worse than Pot of Greed. So
that's true, because you're not trying to get things in the graveyard as consistently.
Graceful Charity into the mix. You actually have to put in some work to actually like create card advantage with Graceful Charity. You'd have to like discard a Sinister Serpent, or you'd have to discard like a big monster to revive with Call of the Haunted or Premature Burial, right? There was uses for the card. You could fill your graveyard for Bazoo the Soul Eater, or you could fill your graveyard for Skull Lair, or you could play Thunder Dragon to discard two cards from your hand that you didn't need anymore. There was uses for Graceful Charity, and obviously it was a good card, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem in the format. There is Sinister Serpent, which, looking back at it now, which is something, once again, from a modern perspective, you would never think of it like this, but I'm convinced they made Sinister Serpent not as good discard fodder, but they made Sinister Serpent to counter Delinquent Duo, I think. That is the thing that they made, I feel like, to counteract Delinquent Duo a little bit. It was like, oh, well, but if you have Sinister Serpent in hand, the Delinquent Duo doesn't hurt you that much. So you can spend your Searching Power, your Sangan, your Witch,
and then the card in general just became a problem.
Or even your Mother Grizzly. You can spend that to get to Sinister Serpent, and then you're safe from Delinquent Duo, right? I think that's genuinely the logic applied in this early days of the game, where instead of just banning Delinquent Duo, they just created a card that was good against it, I think. Which also, to an extent, may have been the idea behind Morphing Jar, right? Like, Morphing Jar is a card that just resets your hand size back to 5. So if you ever get...
Was Serpent in Joey or Pegasus? Because I had both decks, and I don't recall ever owning that card.
Get hit with some hand-ripping tools, and you're down on cards, the idea is, well, just set Morphing Jar and reset, right? So it's funny, and we will get back to this at some point, but we do see this sort of like Band-Aid fix philosophy already here in Yu-Gi-Oh's very early days, where instead of banning the problem card, we just create Band-Aid fixes. Which, of course, I have no idea if that was the actual reason why they did this back then. There's no one who can, I mean, maybe someone could confirm this, but I can't. It's just a theory. But
a game theory?
I feel like that's probably what happened with cards like Morphing Jar and Sinister Serpent, is that they made them as answers to like that.
All right, Josh. I have finished eating my food. So with that, we're going to cast you to the Shadow Realm. You and your 7-hour-long video. All right, chat. Let's actually play some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! So, playing Pier Clowns still. We're back on the pier. We are experimenting with the list that got top 32 at the Spain Nationals. This, what you're looking at is a little different, though. Mainly because I don't own Virtualis Harmonia, and even if I did, I don't particularly agree with running it. Just because it does require a decent amount of extra deck space. Like, he took up 7 extra deck slots for his synchros. He was playing 3 of the Meteor, and then he was playing 4 targets for Harmonia. I don't particularly agree with that, just because, like, yes, we have a flexible extra deck, but I'd like to use it for other purposes. Ooh, excuse me. So we did make some slight modifications because of Virtualis Harmonia. Ooh, excuse me, sorry. Start things off. Other than the Virtualis Harmonia change, I am opting to play. Sorry. Yeah, aside from like the Fragilis Harmonia change, we're filling up the extra deck with like super poly targets. We also actually do need to take those two out because we're not playing Fallen of the Virtuous anymore. So I guess we'll put in like 2 more of these guys for now, or 1 more of each of these. And then the side deck. So we have the Fua on the side. We are playing a Ghost Ogre on the side. We're playing a Ghost Ogre in the main. Ghost Ogre hurts us. We don't like to see Ghost Ogre, so we are going to play Cross Out. I could, in theory, just play Ghost Ogre, like 3 Ghost Ogre in main, and then like the Bell be something else. I think just Bell's really good. We're back on the side frames. However, because we're under the assumption that at least half of our games we're going first, because sometimes we win die rolls. We're only putting Gamma in main because Gamma's good against our opponent. But if we end up going second, then Delta is good, so we can side it in on those spell-heavy matchups. But Delta is not all that great when we're going first because our opponent can't activate a spell in the hand on our turn, unless they're playing Runic. But again, we're going first. So Delta's in the side. You got Crown in the side, Super Poly, Duster, and then some Solemns. So this is what we're gonna toy around with today, and we'll see how we like it. Look, have fun, opponent. These are all really good cards that do basically the same fucking thing. I like redundant hands. Oh, we got the you're good to play. I got nothing. That's what we got. In one. We'll go declare, add rehearsal, discard, declare, add Ben 10. Add Bianca and the Malambrism. Declare, we'll add the Vanity to hand. Summon any Xyz. And summon the Synchro. So, bada bing, bada boom, bada bop, bing, bang. Draw 2. So activate, flare, summon the fusion. Flare, banish, tribute. Summon, flare, set new face. Because we drew fucking Soiree off of the fucking Bianca. Oh, set a 1, set a 2, end phase. I attributed Ritual, Fusion, Xyz, and Pendulum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shuffle. We will discard for hand size. Oh, I should have set the Malambrism. It's fine. Bro said in the draw phase, he has things. He definitely can't have an imperm. Super Poly is a concern, I guess. Super Poly do be a large concern. Hey, he had the super poly. Okay. Okay. Chain 2. It will add. We will add ourselves a Bianca Viso to the hand. I would like to draw another card, please. You back, and you back. A full draw. Alright, I can't do anything in... Okay, think on activation. Okay. Us again. The one of Ogre, by the way. Target. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. I was supposed to target. Still have some targets. Go declare target to banish the ogre. I want to see more come out of his hand because Raiders is still a problem card. Intriguing. He can use this in Mud Dragon to make a guy. Adds a Doomsday monster. Fuck it, we balling. Gracia and 2 unknowns in the hand. Show me the Raiders. What? Oh, there we go. Jesus. Okay. So we're playing Into a Ward. Bro says he's tired of the circus, but we're still playing. I feel like Shifter, like they play Shifter, but I feel like it's fine. Although you can't Ogre under Shifter, and Shifter does kind of fuck with the Bystials a little bit too. I mean, these are pretty good cards. Destroy one card, hand deck, face reveal. Yeah, got no response to that. Add a Doomsday card from deck to the hand. Okay. Add the Amalthe. Probably, maybe Alara. I could see Alara. Okay, it was Alara. Yeah, I got nothing, bud. Okay. Alright, well, hope you don't have an Ash. Boo! Ooh, fuck you. Okay, so we have the mag to say no to the Varudris. Oh no! Our patrons are. Oh no, it's wind. Fuck. All right, never mind. Whose idea was it to make that thing wind? The rest of the deck is dark. Minus the couple of the Xyz guys. Ooh. Damn, it's like he knew. It's like he knew I was bitching about it. He could hear my bitchocracy. All right, so we side out some multiples is what we do now. Like we side out an Ash, probably side out like one of the Bystials. Side out a Malambrism. We're still siding cards out. Okay. I feel like we gotta keep Ogre because if we don't keep Ogre, then we're just gonna get bitch slapped by like Juniper or the Doom's power patron, whatever his fucking name is. I don't agree with this, but we're doing it. We just sided out like a bunch of starters. It's whatever. Okay. One. Okay, so if this gets ashed, we have to go with plan B, which is Nerva. Okay. So we summon Fiends. Right? Yeah, because we already have Soiree in rotation. Summon Fiends and summon this. Do I value Ogre or Ash more? That is a legitimate question. Honestly, both the Power Patron and Raiders pisses me off. So I'm going to normal summon Ash. You can't Ash me, even if you didn't give me the thumbs up. Even if I was not given the thumbs up, I would know that he can't Ash me. What do we do here? Think we just summon the Synchro. I've tributed Seize, Link, and Fusion. One, two, three. That and you might have Super Poly, which is a little concerning. No Super Poly. At least none that are apparent. Glad we kept Ogre. Now we really gotta think. This Gamma is just a dead card in my hand. Declare Banish. Declare. Declare. Raw spin. Extra. Really good draw. That was like a really good fucking draw. Destroy a Doomsday card in his hand, deck, or face up field. Probably going to destroy a Malthae or a Lara. A Lara it is to set the spell. Adding a card. That's all we're doing, buddy. I'm adding follow-up, which I was going to draw into it, apparently. Is not added yet, notably. We are lagging. Whip. Fine. You can't keep getting away with this. um... Okay. You have to destroy a Doomsday card. So what are you destroying? Power Patron. The Power Patron! Fuck! Okay. Well, the Power Patron can't do much, so... Makes a rank 4. If he ever gets this Gamma, or off this Meteor off my board, we're kind of big chillin'. This only adds. So... Yeah. Attachment material. It adds. You're under draw. Oh, did he think it destroys then does the thing? Okay. So you can special summon a non-Xyz from the deck or grave. Start to use a Malthae and a Lara here. Can't get to the Regulus. He's probably going to use this to suck up the Meteor and just hit me in the face. If he uses the quick effect to... if he uses the quick effect, the Xyz to make Big Bungus, then we are big chillin'. Because if he goes big, I'm going to suck this up. I think he's just trying to get game on board. I'll take the 24. Oh. This card in hand was pretty good. I don't get to draw, though, and that's unfortunate, but it be what it be. Only one Bianca out of the deck currently. Draw for turn. Pretty good draw. Main one. Okay, there's probably a way we can just kind of win this out, right? We go declare to summon Xyz. Go declare, banish, tribute, bounce. Declare. Xyz setting. I mean, I think we just win from this position. We go clear. Add Malimbrism. Discard this to grave. Declare tribute. Add the Bianca. And the new face. Summon Diabolo. And doesn't really matter. Some Diabolo and Meteor. Tribute just Meteor. Claire. Target. Put back in hand. Draw one. Battle phase. Takes 36, right? 36. Double pierce. Main 2. That set. Go to the end phase. Declare. Attributed Synchro Ritual Xyz. Set a card. Stand by. We're not completely out of this yet. Put you back. You back. Back. I have no way to... I should have put a Bianca back. I'm just dumb. Okay. Regulus is a big guy. Yeah. I have nothing here, sir. Oh my god. Top decking Regulus was crazy because if I just didn't have like a good fucking card like Crown, I would have died there. I mean, to be fair, putting the Amalthea back in his hand, which just wasn't the play. Like, I think killing the Amalthea and leaving the yeah, like bouncing the Coverture and killing the Amalthea was probably the correct play. Well, no, because the killing the Amalthea would have resulted in it getting its effect there instead of on a different turn. Ugh, just know what right way to do that. The fact that they get their effects when destroyed too is really fucking annoying. I have a text message, probably from my DoorDash, saying, hey, your food has arrived. Oh. I mean, this has potential. No longer has potential. Gotta be fucking kidding me. Is this pure power patron? I think it is. Okay. Either art mage or it's pure power patron. I'm hoping for the latter. Pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay. We're gonna find out if it's pure power patron real fucking quick, chat. Pure power patron. Okay. Okay. Yeah, he can do that on because this hasn't resolved yet. That is correct. He can do that. We do just put him on better half droll. Putting that guy back. What the fuck does this do? While you control an amorphage monster, the native player can activate spell cards or on the field. I mean, it's just what? It's a low scale, right? Essentially. Just the Jeff Jones list. During the main phase, you can see here. If this guy, you can add a face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Yeah, okay. Get that one out of there. Can still summon the Nervado back, which I think is probably the same level. Yeah. Boo. Boo, boo, boo. Okay, summon Nerva. Okay. I'm gonna be honest, chat. I think we might just give it to him so we go next game because I don't see a world where I play through what he's gonna end up putting up. He's gonna end on a Varudris for sure, and then he's gonna end on like the Amorphage Floodgates. I thought that was Fancy Ball for a second. I was like, that's not out yet. Like, you can't do that. Sure, man. Or he hasn't actually ended on anything. Incoming. Varudris. There's the man himself. So we just have a Varudris and a non-finito? Oh, well, no, this can be a board. Okay. I see, I see. Flare. Target. You like to negate this one, sir? Like, he doesn't control an Amorphage, so this is allowed. Bro said, sure. Um... Yeah, his board's honestly enough. We'll just go next. His board is just a weird state of enough. The Droll and Glockbird. Glock and Glock. I don't know. I'm saying words now. I'm just saying shit. This is a bad hand. This is a really bad fucking hand. Holy shit. Oh my. Summon Jupredo so I can cry. That's not quite Jupredo, but hey. To each their own. Summon the Medius. I feel like I'm just gonna crown that. Okay. I think I'm dead. I just feel like a dead guy. Yeah, we'll let that fly. This just summons a Nerva that's not doing anything. Yet. This special summons a dude. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. I forgot the Nervado isn't quite the same as the rest. He summons a guy. That's on me. Because I could have just solemned that. I was probably dead regardless, but, you know, it is what it is. It's a really good hand. This is a really good hand if I do not... Well, I have called by for the draw. Zero communication. Alright, cool. I heckin' love zero communication. Severe lack thereof. Would you like to attempt to draw and Lockbird me? No droll and Glockbird. I didn't activate Benden. Oh my god, I didn't activate the Ben. It's fine. We'll draw it. We'll draw it. It's fine. It was all a ruse because now he thinks the Ben 10, like the ruler is in my hand, chat. It was all a fucking ruse. We'll just draw it off Matinee in the end phase. It's fine. What is this beautiful deck? These are clowns. We're gonna summon a flare and a fiend. I don't think he's playing a fusion deck, and if he is, I'm just gonna regret it. It's fine. We'll call by branded bullshit. Oh, easy killer. Back it up. I would like to draw more cards, please. Only an Ash Blossom. Relying on clowns and draws off of the Bianca. Feck. Oh shit. Put me back in, coach. I have so many cards in my hand and still no hand traps. Tired of this, Grandpa. Yeah, this is actually a little problematic. Have everything at my disposal. I just gotta get there. I shouldn't have done that with Baldrake, by the way. I should have tribute summoned at the Baldrake. Fine, though. Oh, God. Yeah. You, like... Ooh. Okay, so... Excavate 3. And he has the potential to miss, but he also has the potential to hit. I'm gonna ash that. Got 3 cards in hand still. This is fine. The chain really matter? Rosa has 3 cards in hand, and that's mildly concerning. I don't want this fucking rat to get anything off of the delicious. Okay, so I think it's banished. There. Oh, we hit one. We hit 2. Gonna make a guy. We're gonna spin all the Xyz back. All the clowns. Last card in hand. If there's anything I know about Pearly, this ain't shit. You would think that. That would definitely be a thought process. But the deck can, in fact, do things going second. Not very good things, but things nonetheless. I mean, Pearly doesn't really get a bunch of the light and darks in the grave, so it's like the Bystials are only so good. Ogre actually is really disgusting against Pearly. Yeah, no, he's definitely at a disadvantage because I have played his deck before pretty consistently. Pearly is like one of my all-time favorite decks. I'm very familiar with how the deck plays. This is a good hand minus the lack of a starter. Dog, what? Is it Sprite Pearly? Huh. Alrighty, we are big chilling. We're hoping he just doesn't have a cat. Has a cat. Bro, in fact, had a kitty cat. I'm not gonna lie, I just had PTSD from a fucking the whole cat. I'm a kitty cat. Bro, that was a time. Not necessarily a good one, but a time nonetheless. Kind of still want to play Lambda since I am on the sci frames. Like just cut one of the synchro or one of the Xyz and play Lambda. I guess there's no reason not to, right? All right. This has the potential to be really bad. Go. I don't know why I kept Bell in the deck. Show me a Troll and Glockbird. Oh, not out of the woods yet. Okay, now we're out of the woods. Now we're out. Sorry. So we already have Barre in hand. Set. Well, see, now that's good. Kind of good.
haven't broken the claws for this card yet, so add this to hand. There, banish, tribute, special summon. There, summon the meteor. Can't make Link Karibo and go into like Nerva or something. That'd be cute. That would actually be really cute. Set. So I've tributed Fusion, Xyz, Pendulum, so I get 3 draws. Alrighty. We are relying on the big guns, because we did not draw the biggest of guns. I would like to draw another card, please. Because, you know, I don't ever feel like I have enough cards. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. You rat bastard. Ugh. Summon. Probably just summon 2 Xyzes, right? Yeah. I think that's correct. Ooh, that's really fucking strong. One angler, 2 Lily. Kinda have to call by the angler. We don't want him getting too many guys on the board, because then that gets sketch. My friend Perlay. Declare panic. I'm gonna have to just run this the same way we did last time. I want to save the ogre for when he tries to rank it. There we go. Pop the Mi Amigo. This you can only activate. Only use, okay. Back in hand and draw 2 cards. Oh, and there's the boy himself. Okay, we made it. We made it in the end. Okay, well, you're just fucking annoying. I'll kill it again. No. I see what you're trying to do. Oh, we are lagging. Okay. Lag is real. We caught up for a moment. I think I'm fading out of existence. Jesus fucking. Okay. This ain't too good. Okay. Summon, summon. No, book. Ooh, I was gonna self-advertise. I was gonna be like, you wanna know anything about clowns? Follow me on YouTube. But he said, fuck you. You bitch. I feel like we didn't play. Only played 3 games, and I'm already, like, kind of tired. I don't know, chat. I just had been, like, a really just down few, like, like, last couple weeks have just really been meh. Where are we ending the night at? Bitch. Put the game on my record. Brr. I just want to see. There we go. Okay, well. I feel like we just end on a good note. So wait, this guy said we played each other before. We did. We literally did. We played each other a couple days ago. The only time we played each other. Okay. Right, the only other time we played each other. I mean, we're slowly creeping. We're climbing. So far, and I mean, we've only played 3 games, so I only have 3 games experience. So far, this is my favorite build we've tested with based on the success. The deck seems to have a lot of has a lot of pushes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 starters. And then because of Nerva, Malabrism can be a pseudo starter. Or sorry, 12 starters, because this is technically a starter as well. So 12 definite starters, and then like 3 pseudo starters. Playing a decent amount of hand traps too, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 actual hand traps, and then the Bystials are like situational hand traps that are just like kind of good in the current format. We're only playing the one Ghost Ogre because of Crossout. We don't want to see Ghost Ogre all that much. I don't know. I'm gonna call it a night, chat. It's like only 9 o'clock, but I'm just super low motivation.